Hi guys, welcome back to Football Heaven 24/7. Been away for a little while, but I'm going to do lots more content over the next few weeks. It is going to be the last episode of the season. The Premier League finished yesterday. Today we have one more playoff final to finish off, and that is Sheffield Wednesday against Barnsley in the League One playoff to try and get that last place into the Championship for next season, 23-24 season. So Sheffield Wednesday against Barnsley, the two games that they played against each other in the league, Barnsley won 4-2 at theirs and 2-0 at Sheffield Wednesday. So you would say that it would be in favour of Barnsley going into it, but Wednesday are slight favourites on the basis that they finished higher in the league table, and any other season with 96 points, Sheffield Wednesday probably would have finished second or even won the league. But it was that competitive. As we know, Plymouth and Ipswich went up in League One, and as I say, it's either Sheffield Wednesday or Barnsley to join them today in today's 3 o'clock kickoff. My prediction for the game, I'm going to go for a high-scoring game. The last two playoffs that have happened over the weekend, in the League Two playoff, Carlisle drew 1-1 with Stockport. That went into extra time, then eventually went into penalties, and Carlisle won 5-4 on penalties to seal their place up in League One next season. And also in the other playoff, which was the £170 million final, the most lucrative final in the world, basically between Coventry City and Luton, two unfavourable teams at the start of the season. Luton had a fantastic rise. Within 9 years, they were in the conference 9 years ago, and they found themselves in the Championship playoffs with the opportunity to travel from conference to Premier League within 9 years, and that's exactly what they did. The game finished 1-1 in at full time, then it went into extra time, then it went into penalties, and Luton Town even ended up winning 6-5 on penalties to seal their first time back in the top flight since 1992 when they were relegated, and when the top flight wasn't called the Premier League, it was called Division 1 back then. So congratulations to Luton Town, congratulations to Carlisle United. They will be playing in higher leagues next season, and like I say, it remains to be seen whether Sheffield Wednesday or Barnsley will be in the Championship next season. But obviously I'll do an episode tomorrow that will cover obviously telling you who got through out of those two. But let's drop into the Premier League. That's where the main action was over the weekend. At the start of the day, obviously Manchester City had already won the title a week or so ago, but Manchester City were playing away at Brentford at the start of the day, and Arsenal were playing at home to Wolves. But the more important or more crucial end of the table was a fight between Everton, Leicester City and Leeds to stay up in the Premier League. Everton were playing at home to Bournemouth, Leicester were at home to West Ham, and Leeds were at home to Tottenham Hotspurs. Now, going into the game, Everton were 2 points ahead of Leicester and Leeds, and that would to be proved decisive because all Everton had to do was obviously get a better result than Leeds and Leicester to guarantee staying in the Premier League. So, and that's what they did in the end. They got a 1-0 win against Bournemouth. Leeds lost 4-1 at home to Tottenham, and Leicester, even though they won 2-1 at home to West Ham, went 2-0 up in that game. It wasn't enough for Leicester City. Leicester City got relegated 7 years after surprising everybody and being 5,000-1 winners of the Premier League in 2016. 7 years later in 2023, they're now a Championship team as of next season. So they went down. Leeds United, after 3 years back in the Premier League, 3 seasons back in the Premier League, they went back down again into the Championship. And Southampton were already cut off adrift, and they were already relegated a few weeks ago. They're back in the Championship after, I believe it was 12 years, 12 years of being in the Premier League. So, yeah, mad for those three teams. They've gone down. Manchester City lost 1-0 away at Brentford. That was only their fifth defeat of the season. That didn't do anything for Brentford's hopes of getting it into the Europa Conference final competition, because Liverpool had already qualified for the Europa League. Brighton already qualified for the Europa League. Aston Villa were the ones that ended up qualifying for the Europa Conference League. And that was purely on the basis that they won 2-1 at home to Brighton. Goal from Douglas Luiz, one from Watkins, and a goal from Brighton from Undav. But yeah, Villa finished 7th to get that Conference League place. Tottenham had a really bad season, finished 8th, even though they got a good 4-1 win away at Leeds. 2 goals from Harry Kane took his total up to 30 goals, but he couldn't beat the really impressive Haaland, who finished the season with 36 goals for Manchester City as top goal scorer of the Premier League. Other results from the day: Arsenal won 5-0 against Wolves. 2 goals from Granit Xhaka, who probably will be leaving Arsenal at the end of this season. Saka scored, Gabriel Jesus and Kawhi, defender that's only played recently in the last few games. That gave them a 5-0 win. Chelsea drew 1-0 with Newcastle. Chelsea had an absolutely awful season, ended up finishing 12th in the Premier League. And Newcastle finished 4th to get that Champions League place, which was guaranteed about a week or so ago as well. Other teams that qualified, obviously, for the Champions League was Manchester City, Arsenal and Manchester United. But yeah, what I'm going to do is there's a few more scores. Yeah, Manchester United won 2-1 against Fulham. Goals from Sancho and Fernandes and a goal from Tete early on gave Fulham the lead, but those 2 goals from Sanchez and Fernandes rounded it off for Man United, even though Fulham had a chance to go 2-0 up, but Mitrovic missed the penalty to make that so. And then the craziest day of the game in the Premier League yesterday was a 4-4 draw between already relegated Southampton and Liverpool, who finished 5th. At one point in the game, Southampton were 4-2 ahead. It was an absolutely insane game. Liverpool went 2-0 ahead in the game, and then Southampton, as I say, went 4-2 up, and then literally within a 1-minute spell, Liverpool got 2 goals to get it back to 4-4. So that was an absolutely insane game there. Southampton 4, Liverpool 4. So I'm going to run through the whole table. As I say, I've already mentioned who got relegated, but Manchester City finished top as champions. That's their 5th title in the last 6 seasons. Arsenal finished second, 5 points behind them on 84 points. Manchester United finished in 3rd with 75 points. Newcastle in 4th with 71 even. Liverpool in 5th with 67. Brighton in 6th with 62 points. Aston Villa in 7th with 61. Tottenham in 8th with 60. Brentford in 9th with 59 points. Fulham in 10th with 52. Crystal Palace in 11th with 45. Chelsea in 12th with 44 points. Wolves in 13th with 41 points. West Ham in 14th with 40 points. Bournemouth in 15th with 39. Nottingham Forest in 16th with 38 points. Everton was the last team to stay up, and they finished 17th with 36 points. Relegated teams: Leicester City finished in 18th with 34 points. Leeds United finished in 19th with 31 points, and cut off adrift right at the bottom in the 20th position and relegated as well was Southampton. One game I forgot to mention was actually my boys, Forest, away at Crystal Palace. They got a 1-1 draw, 6 goals in the last 4 games for Awoniyi on his return. Taiwo Awoniyi doing amazing things. Watch out for him next season, guys. Anyone that likes to have a punt, I think Taiwo Awoniyi, if he doesn't get injured, will end up with 20 goals next season. I've made that prediction now. It's an insane prediction to make, but I think Forest, if they get 20 goals, I can see Forest being in the top half next season. So that's my prediction. But I'll be back. Obviously, what I'm going to do, before I even know what transfers and things are going on, I'm going to do a provisional prediction of next year's leagues. That'll obviously start after we know who won between Sheffield Wednesday and Barnsley later on today. I will do my predictions tonight, how I think next season will go, my early ones, and then obviously what I'll do is I'll do another predictions nearer to the time after we know what transfers teams have got in. So that's what I'm going to go with. Thank you to everyone that's liked and subscribed this season. It's been great to do it all. Had a number of views. I haven't really overly advertised it all, to be honest, but I need to put more episodes out there, more content, which I'm going to be doing next season. I'm going to be covering a lot. But what I'm going to do now, very quickly, in this episode, is I'm just going to run over the other top 4 leagues in Europe, namely Germany, France, Spain and Italy. They're not quite over yet. Well, the German league is over. On Saturday, it was between Dortmund and Bayern Munich on the last day of the season. All that Dortmund had to do was get a better result, obviously, than Bayern Munich. In the game, they didn't do. Bayern Munich won 1-0 away at Cologne, and Borussia Dortmund were down 2-0 to Mainz at home after literally 24 minutes. They never really recovered. They got 2 goals back from Guerrero and Sule in the 95th minute, but it wasn't enough. Dortmund drew 2-2. Literally Bayern Munich won the German league on goal difference over Dortmund, so that was pretty bad for them. And then the two teams that got relegated from the German league was Schalke and Hertha Berlin. Stuttgart's got to do a playoff against another German team in the second division, which I don't know who that is. Going into the French league, PSG are already champions. No real surprise with Lionel Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe as their front three. But having said that, because they'd already won the title, I think they've eased off a little bit. They only drew 1-1 away at Strasbourg. Lens won 3-0 against the relegated Ajaccio to keep them in second. Marseille are in third. They lost 2-1 at home to Brest. And Lille, in their game, won 2-1 against Nantes to keep them in the top 4 places to get in the Champions League. Relegated out of the French League, going into League 2 next season in the French League is FC Troyes, AC Ajaccio, I can't even say it, and Angers. Those 3 teams have been relegated from the French League. In Spain, Barcelona are the champions. They're 11 points clear of Real Madrid. Barcelona won 3-0 yesterday against Mallorca at home. Real Madrid won 2-1 away at Seville. Decent result for them, but like I say, Barcelona have won the league. There's only one more game left from all the teams in the Spanish league. Barcelona are champions though. Relegated out of the Spanish league so far is Espanyol and Elche, and there's a fight between a number of teams down the bottom: Getafe, Valencia, Almeria, Celta Vigo, and Real Valladolid. Going to be a massive relegation fight between all those teams to try and avoid the drop in the final relegation spot in the Spanish league over the weekend, next weekend. So that's what's going on in Spain. In Italy, Napoli were obviously champions for the first time since the 80s, going back a couple of weeks now. On the weekend, they basically did all right. They were 2-0 up in their game away at Bologna, but ended up drawing 2-2. Lazio won 3-2 at home to Cremonese to stay in second place. Inter Milan also had a good win at home to Atalanta, winning 3-2. So that's kept them in the top 3 places for the Champions League. Outside of that, you've got AC Milan in 4th position. AC Milan at the weekend won 1-0 away at Juventus. Juventus, as a lot of people know, they were originally deducted 15 points. Then those points were taken away and they were able to go up into the Champions League places. And then they got a 10-point deduction instead. So that's put Juventus just outside the qualification places to get into Europe, any form of Europe next season. So got European competition. So that's what's going on there. Relegated out of the Italian league so far, with only one round of games left to go next weekend. Cremonese in Sampdoria. There's going to be a relegation fight on the last day between Hellas Verona and Spezia to decide the final relegation place in Italy for next weekend. So that's what's going on there. That is my roundup of all the Premier League action, the playoffs that have already happened over the weekend just gone, and obviously covering the Premier League and Europe, the rest of Europe. Jumping in the Scottish League, obviously Celtic are champions last day of the season. They finished with 99 points. Rangers finished second to them, not surprisingly, 7 points behind with 92 points. Relegated out of the Scottish Premiership so far is Dundee United. Potentially Ross County or somebody could get relegated as well with Dundee United. So that's what's going on there in the Scottish League. So that's all the leagues covered locally and all the top leagues in Europe. Whoever you support, I hope you had a good season. If you didn't, there's always the hope of next season. Even if your team finished crazy like 18th, they could end up winning the league next season. You would never know, especially outside of the Premier League, what's going to happen. So bye for now. Have a great week, whoever you support, and I'll be back with my update on the League One playoff final between Barnsley and Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow, and more content over the coming weeks. So if you stay tuned, thank you to all those that like and subscribe, and get all your friends and family involved. Have a great time. Bye for now.